So president and vice president's job kind of continued. So as the nation has grown, so the job of being president. Here's some examples, such as he has the power to approve or veto bills, basically turning them into laws. He's commander-in-chief of armed forces. He appoints cabinet members, ambassadors, and federal judges. He proposes laws and programs to Congress to get them started. Keeps Congress informed about the state of the union and the economy. Prepares the federal government's budget. Receives foreign ambassadors. Conducts U.S. foreign relations and makes treaties. And a little caveat to this one, he can make a treaty, but if it doesn't get approved by the Senate, it doesn't count. Can pardon those guilty of crimes against the federal government. So he is the chief executive. He's the head of the executive branch. Now, if you remember earlier, we talked about how the executive branch has the most employees. This is because of bureaucracy. It's all the different people who work for the government. There are certain duties that he has, such as carrying out the laws. He can also issue executive orders. These are orders given by the president in order to carry out his duties as chief executive. The orders have the same force as a law, and just like a law, get reviewed by the Supreme Court. He can appoint government officials, such as Supreme Court justices and cabinet members. So here is a little cartoon for it. He's also the chief diplomat. He deals with foreign governments. Basically, he appoints ambassadors with Senate approval. He makes treaties, again, with Senate approval, and he acts as mediator between nations. So he is our head of state, so he will talk to other heads of state, such as Britain's prime minister, Israel's president, North Korea's dictator, so on and so forth. He's the commander-in-chief. He's the leader of the armed forces. He commands our troops, and he picks military leaders. He is also the legislative leader. So it is his job to sign bills into laws or to ignore them / veto them, and then the legislative branch can overcome that. He's also an economic leader in a legislative role, which is where the budget comes from. He can use his presidential influence to try and get things passed in Congress. He also gives a State of the Union speech. It's once a year given by the president to describe the situation of the nation, and the speech is required by the Constitution. A lot of times he uses the media to give the State of the Union. So here is a neat little chart. Shows all the bills that each president has vetoed, and then what type of vetoes they were, whether they were regular or pocket, and then how many of them were overridden. So he is also his party leader. He's the visible leader of his political party, pursues goals that are favorable to the party that he is a part of. He uses the patronage system, which gives out government positions to those people who gave support to the candidate and share their ideas, aka people in their party. Gives endorsements in campaigns. It's a process where famous or influential people give their support to someone who is seeking office. He's also a judicial leader. He's the head of the law enforcement system. So he has the power to appoint federal and Supreme Court judges with the approval of the Senate. He has certain judicial powers, such as immunity, making someone free from prosecution. He has the power to give that out. He has the power of a pardon, forgiving someone for a crime. He has the power of reprieve, which is delaying the punishment given to someone. He also has the power of commutation, which is reducing a person's sentence. So if someone were to get sentenced for 20 years, he could commutate it to 10. Also, amnesty, which is kind of the same thing as a pardon. The only difference is pardon is for a single person, and amnesty is for a group. So he's also the chief of state. He's the symbolic leader of the nation. He meets with foreign leaders. He makes patriotic speeches and visits. And for the most part, when we say chief of state, it's mostly symbolic. He's a figurehead. He really is not all that powerful when it comes to state matters.